to Just Saying Mum. I'm Helen and I'm with Sarah and Jane again from BE Integrative Therapy. And today we're answering a mummy blogger's question actually. On my first blog, when I did a little bit of blogging about it, I invited other mummies to message me if they had an issue they wanted to discuss with Sarah and Jane about an issue that they were struggling with raising their teens. And one mum came back to me, a sad issue actually, and one probably quite a few of us can relate to. It was about her 12-year-old daughter who was part of a group at school, a popular group, perhaps she did mention a toxic group, where she felt that it wasn't particularly a great group of friends for her daughter, but didn't really know how to go about advising her daughter to perhaps change groups, how to feel better about herself. So I thought I'd invite Sarah and Jane back and ask them what they thought would be the best set of skills as a mum or a parent to give their child to cope with that kind of toxic relationship. So over to Sarah and Jane. Hello again. Thank you for joining me. To keep throwing these questions at you and expecting instant advice, but that is a real issue, isn't it?
It is quite a common one
that comes up time
actually.
and time again. So I'd love your advice.
I think the first thing is to sort of think why that child might want to be in a group anyway. I mean, all children at school, at work, adults, we all break into groups. We're all tribal. We all want to belong.
Yes,
I think that is a human need, isn't it? However, the problem comes is if you're with a group that is actually not right for you, because that can be even more isolating then than actually being on your own. And unfortunately, that is a sort of trap that a lot of children fall into, especially as it sounds with your friend or that other mum, where the daughter is in the so-called popular crowd.
Yes, I think
that's the issue. She's in a group that on the face of it should be great, but it's clearly not doing what it needs to do for her.
No.
And it's difficult when you're a child, but it's sort of recognising what is good for you, isn't it? It's what you believe in, what makes you happy, what gives you confidence. It's all of those things, because that all comes from a sort of healthy sense of self-worth and self-esteem, because self-esteem underpins everything, and it really does dictate how we react to things, how we perceive situations all through our life. I mean, it is the key to everything, really, and being in the popular group, whatever that may be, is not going to make that good if the group is not good for you.
And as a mum, you can see that that relationship isn't good, and you can see that maybe that your child's esteem isn't as high as it should be, or as worthy as they should be, and you're trying your best to give them advice of how to get through that.
And if it is toxic, as that mum said, she, again, that's a strong word, but she's come to that from somewhere. You know, she's obviously experienced things with this daughter. She's heard things and had conversations that have made her feel that.
Yes, of course.
So this is going to do nothing for the girl's self-esteem at all, being with this group of friends by the sound of it.
But it's hard to break away from that group of friends, and sometimes very hard for a mum to suggest that that child breaks it. So what kind of advice would you be able to give, or would you give to children if you were talking to them about this?
I think, I mean, it's very easy to look at it with the benefit of hindsight and our age, and to look back on things, and we can actually now see whether the friendships that we had were good or bad. But if you were to try and talk to your pre-teen, teenager, whatever, that is their core, that's what their whole world is built around. And if you actually start to talk to them about perhaps some of those people within it aren't really the friends that they think they are, it can really rock them quite badly.
I know.
Yeah, and it's a very difficult thing for them to actually start to talk to you about, and for you to talk to them about.
Yeah, I mean, as we said, there will be a certain kudos in being in that group. You know, if they are seen as the popular group, there's a reason for that. So, you know, that will have with it certain sort of, I don't know, sort of issues of, it's great, I'm in this group, I'm where I need to be. But actually, as I said, you know, coupled with that will be the anxiety of what happens if I fall out of this group. There'll be a constant anxiety, and that won't probably just be that other mum's daughter, probably all of the people within that group pretty much will be feeling that same anxiety, because it only works while they're all in it, sort of pulling together.
Yeah, that's quite an interesting point actually. It's probably not just that one girl that's feeling it, it's probably a lot of them. You'll probably find there's a perhaps a leader within that group,
Absolutely.
that they were probably a bit afraid of stepping away from.
And the
having
sad thing is that later on
confidence.
in life, it will be that leader that will probably be in the worst place.
Yeah.
Because that leader
They've
will
got the
need
issues.
all the others around them to support
Yes.
them and boost their self-esteem.
Okay, so we as parents can recognise that it is damaging to their confidence, and the fact that it would probably be led by one person in that group. So how do we advise? I know, Jane, you did mention earlier before we started recording about perhaps other friendships to look at.
Yeah, I think that the one thing you need to do is to make them start to think about the positives of the things they get out of it within their friendship group, but
Okay.
also make them start to look at the negatives as well. And then they will start to suddenly see that actually, yeah, perhaps it's not all that it is cracked up to be. But I think as a parent also, it's opening things up a bit and perhaps giving them the chance to mix with other people, encourage outside groups, encourage different activities at the weekend, give them something else in terms of a support network, rather than
great.
just being stuck within
Yeah.
the same crowd at school. Make them start to make that transition to belong in another area as well, and make them start to realise that this group is not the be all and end all.
No, I think that's a fantastic idea, to actually just to reach out to other friends that you have with children outside of school, to show them friendship, so that perhaps when they get home from school, they've got someone to phone that isn't connected to that friendship
absolutely.
group at school, that isn't aware of what's going on, to make you feel you have a friend outside of that.
And at the age of
toxic
12, that is
relationship.
slightly easier than when they get older.
It is,
Because you
yes.
you can use your network of perhaps
course.
friends and mums that you've had, where perhaps the little girl will go out with you, and friends that she's known since she was perhaps a toddler.
Yes.
You know, so when she goes back to school on the Monday, she can then sort of have conversations about what she's done at the weekend with friends. She can call them friends. Those other girls or those other people in the group don't have to know who those friends are, but it's just something else. It's drawing strength from
Yes,
different
from
people,
different people,
without
a different
all the
perspective.
dynamic
Yes.
of what's going on in that group, because that's hard
yeah.
to be in a group where it's not working for you. It's
No,
really
it's
hard.
ever so hard.
It's
I can't
draining.
imagine.
Yeah.
Yes. So, what would you suggest in the school setting? Because it's very hard for a child when they're at school to break away. Is there a way we can get them to handle it at school a bit better, do you think? Or do you think that will take its natural course?
I think it will take its natural course.
Okay, so
I do
from your
think,
experience...
you know, unless it gets to a situation where there is a defining issue.
Okay.
I think it can also be addressed again though by actually seeing whether or not they can join another group within school. Can they
Okay.
start a different sport so that they can break away
Because then it's more natural, isn't it?
legitimately for a couple of lunchtimes a week or
Yes.
something. And then they're not seen to be actually going off of that crowd to go and mix with another crowd. They've actually got a real reason as to why they're going away. And sport and activity is always a good...
Yes,
good way
and
to
actually, the mummy that approached me, her daughter was 12, so she would have likely, well, yes, she would be at senior school, and at senior school you've got so many clubs, different activities.
Yeah.
So really, I suppose, shall I sum up really that the advice is, we are aware that children can end up in friendships that perhaps aren't great for them. It's not, you can't as a mum tell them that they can't be friends with that group. That isn't going to be the solution. But I think, as you've said, it's recognising that it's not a great positive friendship, looking for outside friendships, outside networks, outside of school clubs, but also to help the child within the school setting, look at clubs within school. So join whatever club it is that their friends aren't part of, to meet new people. I think, would you say that would sum up?
Absolutely, it's just keeping the communication open all
And-
the time, because very often it will be a throwaway comment by the child that can then lead you into a conversation that sort of surrounds, look, I know you're not
Yes.
feeling great about things, and it's just allowing them to talk to you, isn't it? Just them
Absolutely.
knowing that, you know...
And keeping that open.
Yeah.
Keeping those lines of communication up. Okay, well, thank you, Sarah and Jane. And I think, again, if anyone else has any issues they'd like to ask Sarah or Jane, drop me a message, reply to a blog, reply to a vlog, and I will chat to Sarah and Jane about it and report back to you. But thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
Till next time.
Hope it
Thank
helped.
you. Bye.